You need a vision for your life. Vision is the ability to look into the invisible and to create and to see that which does not exist.
There are times in your life when you're not going to be happy. And then what are you going to do? Your goal is demolished. And there are going to be plenty of times in your life when you're not happy. There might be years. And so it's a shallow boat in a very rough ocean.
Because we all gonna hit that wall. We're all gonna hit opposition. We're all gonna hit adversity. But I think we all know at the core, it's never about what happens to you. It's about how you respond to it. You can control that. Like people are resilient. Like resilient, got the fortitude. Like you put a goal in front of them, they'll smash it. They'll chase it down. People are resilient. Like when you put goals in front of them, they chase it. Resilient, right? And if you're resilient, you'll get whatever you're looking for if you're resilient.
What do I do when I'm broken? When I'm broken, I relish it. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use it.
You've got to be willing to change your ways. Your life is working. If you don't like what you have produced, you're a director, you are the star, you wrote this script. You produced this, whatever it is. If it's a hit, you produced it. If it's a flop, you produced it. Take ownership of it and decide to go back to the drawing board and rewrite the script that you are the star of. You have the power to do that. On this day, you can declare that I'm going to change.
And so every single day, with whatever you do, if it's football, if it's basketball, whatever the case may be, every single day when you do it, before you approach it, ask yourself a question. Like at the core, I'm talking about with conviction. Say, why do I really do it? But most importantly, who am I really doing it for?
If I'm broken, then I just found my limitations. And until I know what my limitations are, how can I push them?
Happiness is something that descends upon you. Everyone knows that. You know, it comes upon you suddenly. And then you should be grateful for it. What you should be pursuing instead is, well, there's two things. You should be pursuing who you could be. That'd be the first thing. It's like, because you're not who you could be, and you know it. You have guilt and shame and regret, and you berate yourself for your lack of discipline and your procrastination and all your bad habits. You know perfectly well that you're not who you could be. And God only knows who you could be. And so that's how you should be that's what you should be striving for.
When you find yourself disappointed in life, when you find yourself coming up short in life, you can either complain about it or you can choose to learn from it.
Like I'm a firm believer that God redirects and maneuvers us when he has us on a mission. Right? And in the redirection, I think true courage is the ability to embrace what we don't understand. Because I know anybody can accept and embrace something that they do understand and that they know the end result. But I think true courage is when you find yourself in the midst of an opposition, piece of adversity or situation, and when you're in the midst of it, you're thinking, man, how did this happen and how did I get here? But you still have a certain level of perspective to say, even though I don't understand it, even though I don't like it, I can still trust God even though I can't trace God.
Because you're facing a disappointment today doesn't mean that you have to live defeated. Just because you're facing a disappointment today doesn't have to let you believe that your whole entire destiny is delayed and will never ever be reached. No, life is going to have highs and lows, peaks and troughs.
Dedicate your life to something. Dedicate your life to a cause larger than yourself. See, if you dedicate your life to a cause larger than yourself, you're not following the crowd.
It isn't one thing. And it isn't 10 things, and it isn't 100 things. It isn't a quick path, and there are no shortcuts. Getting better isn't a hack or a trick or a one change that you need to make. Getting better is a campaign. It's a campaign. It's a daily, a weekly, it's an hourly fight.
Not out of convenience, but out of conviction. There's a purpose for me being here. There are non-negotiables in my life because I must accomplish this thing that God put me here to do.
Should be attempting to formulate some conception of the highest good that you can conceive of, that you can articulate. Because why not aim for that? It's like your life is short, and perhaps you need to do something worthwhile with it. And if so, then you should do the most worthwhile thing.
I must move you from being to doing. I must move you from just being there and just in a place of complacement. You move from that to a compelling that is attached to your life. When I say I must, I'm under the grip of something that is greater than my own self and my own desires. When I say I must, I am a person of purpose. I must means you are overcome with something. I must means you have eliminated some things from your life. I must means there's something that I've got to do with my life. There's something I was put on this earth to do. I must means I'm living my life not out of convenience, but out of conviction.